Oh, honey. This was supposed to be Meghan Markle's glorious, champagne-popping, headline-making comeback to daytime TV. Picture it. The Duchess of Daytime Charm herself, perched on Drew Barrymore's plush sofa, swirling a delicate glass of rosé, tossing her hair, laughing in that perfectly rehearsed yet so relatable way. It was going to be a little girl talk, a little gossip, a little PR magic, and a whole lot of product placement. Her team had this planned like a military operation. No, scratch that, like a full-scale Hollywood invasion. We're talking branding decks thick enough to knock someone out, market analysis slides that could rival a Fortune 500 pitch, curated talking points polished to a high shine, and even a wine tasting segment designed to melt middle America's hearts. The star of the show? Her freshly launched lifestyle wine brand, Rosé as Ever. Marketed as this glamorous fusion of elegance, empowerment, and effortless luxury. The mission was crystal clear. Make Meghan likable again. Put her back in the public's good graces. Remind America why they once couldn't stop talking about her. Only, the playbook didn't go the way they thought it would. When Meghan's reps reached out to Drew Barrymore's team with their brilliant pitch, they expected a quick, squealing yes. What they got instead? A cold, clinical, and very final no. No drama, no press release, no messy headlines. Just a clean behind-the-scenes shutdown that sent shockwaves through Meghan's carefully plotted media strategy. And here's the kicker. Drew Barrymore was supposed to be the safe bet. Drew, the Hollywood sweetheart who rebuilt her career on warmth, vulnerability, and cozy, feel-good TV. If Oprah was the queen of emotional revelations, Drew was the cool best friend who'd hand you tea and tell you it's all going to be okay. Meghan's team was banking on that. They assumed Drew's empathetic big sister vibe would be the perfect backdrop for a Meghan rebrand. Smooth, friendly, controversy-free. What they forgot? Drew isn't just a warm smile and soft lighting. She's fiercely protective of her own image and the vibe of her show. And when Meghan's name popped up in internal discussions, the room didn't light up with excitement. It froze. The concern wasn't about the wine. It wasn't even about promoting alcohol on daytime TV. No, the red flags were all about Meghan herself. Or more specifically, the storm cloud of drama that always seems to follow her. Producers whispered, would Meghan hijack the interview to air out old royal grievances? Would it turn into a tightly choreographed PR stunt instead of a real conversation? Would Drew's show, known for its spontaneity and realness, get dragged into the messy, unpredictable, tabloid-fueling Meghan vortex? And you know what? These weren't wild guesses. This was based on history. Meghan has a rep in the industry. She likes to control her interviews down to the last breath. We're talking retakes, heavy-handed editing approvals, and laser-focused steering away from anything that isn't on script. That's a nightmare for producers who thrive on genuine moments. And Drew's magic? It's built on those unscripted, oh my god, did she just say that? Moments. Inviting Meghan felt like the opposite of that. A risk with no real upside. But here's the real gag. Meghan didn't see this coming, not even close. In her mind, this was a slam dunk. She had the perfect narrative, the glossy pitch, and her secret weapon, the Princess Diana card. Yes, Meghan's team went there. They knew Drew had met Princess Diana years ago and even kept a photo from that day, so they leaned into it hard, framing the pitch as this emotional full-circle moment between two women connected through the late Diana's legacy. Instead of melting hearts, it backfired badly. According to insiders, the second the Diana angle came up, the mood shifted from warm to icy. What was meant to feel sentimental came off as manipulative. Drew and her team weren't falling for what felt like emotional blackmail dressed up as female empowerment. No one raised their voice, there were no dramatic walkouts, but the answer was still a hard, unshakable no. And in Hollywood, silence is often louder than any scandal. There was no, maybe next time, Meghan. No, let's find another angle. Just a door quietly, but firmly, shut. For someone like Meghan, who lives and breathes high-visibility platforms, this wasn't a tiny speed bump. This was a red flashing warning sign. And the ripple effect? Oh, it was just getting started. Once word got around about Drew's rejection, Hollywood's infamous whisper network kicked into gear. That invisible, unstoppable current that carries the hottest gossip faster than TMZ ever could. Suddenly, Meghan's name wasn't sparking excitement in meetings. It was sparking hesitation. Arms folded, brows furrowed. Maybe we'll pass on this one. Two other major talk shows, The Kelly Clarkson Show and The View, reportedly got the same wine promo pitch. Both passed without hesitation. Same reasoning every time. Too risky, too much baggage, too much potential for chaos. And that's the thing. Daytime TV runs on comfort. You don't invite a guest who might turn your couch into a war zone. The rejection didn't just sting Meghan's ego. It started bleeding into her business. Her wine brand, Rosé as Ever, was pitched as a movement. A sip of luxury, a toast to elegance, empowerment in a bottle. But in the celebrity product world, the face of the brand is everything. If the star can't get booked, distributors start asking questions. Why isn't this brand being talked about? Why isn't Meghan out there pushing it? Is the industry pulling away? Behind closed doors, Meghan's PR team scrambled. They tried soft leaks to friendly outlets about her focusing on international press or gearing up for a massive campaign. But the insiders weren't buying it. In Hollywood, 1 declined appearance is bad luck. 3, that's exile. Even her old allies were nowhere to be found. Ellen DeGeneres, once happy to have Meghan on for goofy skits, reportedly passed without much explanation. Oprah? Silent. No Instagram shout-out, no friendly nod, nothing. And in celebrity culture, where even C-listers plug their friends' candle lines, that silence was deafening. Real problem? It wasn't the wine, the branding was solid, the story was fine. But likability? That's the one thing you can't fake. And right now, Meghan's public image wasn't selling aspiration. It was selling tension. Her team pushed ahead, chasing smaller outlets, niche podcasts, influencer dinners. But without that one big daytime debut, the launch was already limping. Distributors hesitated. Some pushed back purchase orders. Others quietly backed out. And here's the brutal truth. Meghan's name had gone from asset to liability. Financially, it was a nightmare. Launching a celebrity wine label costs millions. Vineyard deals, custom bottles, photo shoots, a dedicated marketing team. Without that TV push, the only way to get similar exposure was massive paid advertising. Experts crunched the numbers. She'd need to spend 3 to 4 times her current budget to match what one Drew Barrymore segment could have done in 10 minutes. That's when it hit her. This wasn't just about salvaging a product launch, this was about salvaging her brand. But instead of pausing for a hard reset, Meghan went into overdrive, trying to control the story. Her team floated narratives about scheduling conflicts, hinted that Drew's team had botched the pitch, even suggested Meghan was choosing not to appear. The public didn't buy it, and in Hollywood, where comebacks thrive on humility, doubling down on spin only deepens the damage. The industry had already labeled her, and that label, difficult. The kind of label that doesn't just close doors, it bolts them shut. And so Rosé as ever trickled into a few boutique shops, made a brief splash on social media with curious fans, then quietly blended into the sea of pretty bottles no one talks about. The empire Meghan had envisioned, it didn't collapse in some dramatic scandal, it just faded. The questions now weren't about what's next. They were about whether the hustle was even worth it anymore. And in an industry built on image, there's one truth Meghan Markle has now learned the hard way. When Drew Barrymore says no and no one else says yes, it's not just rejection, it's a message. And that message, everyone in Hollywood just heard it loud and clear. Here's where the story takes an even sharper turn. You'd think Meghan, with all her savvy and never let them see you sweat energy, would have gone into damage control with a killer pivot. Instead, behind the scenes, the cracks in the team started showing. The PR machine that once ran like clockwork was suddenly drowning in urgent meetings. Every conversation began with the same question: how do we fix this before the press catches on? The silence from daytime TV wasn't just a bad look. It was threatening the entire foundation of the brand launch. In celebrity land, that silence speaks volumes. Friends plug each other's brands all the time, sometimes just to keep the machine running. For Meghan, that absence was more than a missed opportunity. It was a signal. Let's talk numbers, because this part isn't just gossip, it's cold, hard math. Launching Rosé as ever wasn't cheap. We're talking millions, from vineyard contracts to bespoke bottle designs, professional photo shoots, influencer seating, and the high-powered marketing team. All of that was calculated on the assumption of a huge media rollout, which was now dead in the water. The fix? Paid ads, and lots of them. Meghan's team began eyeing full-page spreads in glossy lifestyle mags, billboard takeovers in New York and LA, and major digital ad buys. But experts crunched the numbers. To get the same visibility as a 10-minute Drew Barrymore segment, she'd need to spend 3 to 4 times her original marketing budget. That's not growth. That's financial triage. Rather than admit the talk show doors were closed, Meghan's camp went into spin mode. Press leaks claim she was choosing to focus on international audiences. Anonymous sources hinted at scheduling conflicts. One particularly bold narrative even suggested Drew's team had mishandled the pitch. But here's the problem. The public's not stupid. And the Hollywood press? Even less so. The more they pushed these alternative explanations, the more obvious it became that Meghan was trying to control the story, and that's where she missed the comeback playbook entirely. Hollywood loves a redemption arc, but only when it comes with a little humility. Meghan wasn't giving them that. She was doubling down, and in doing so, she was making the freeze-out feel permanent. By the time Rosé as ever finally hit shelves, it didn't have the launch buzz. No major interviews, no viral tasting moments. Just a few boutique shops, some half-interested influencers, and curious fans buying out of loyalty rather than hype. Without momentum, the brand blended into the crowded wine aisle. No empire, no lifestyle mogul moment. Just another celebrity product that never broke through. And here's the cruel irony. It wasn't the wine's fault. By all accounts, it was well-made, beautifully packaged, with a solid backstory. But in celebrity branding, the story sells the product. And Meghan's story right now? It was chaos, not aspiration. Behind the scenes, even Meghan's most loyal advisors began asking the questions no one wanted to say out loud. Is it time to pull back? Is the hustle worth it? Has the industry officially closed the door? Because here's the brutal truth in Hollywood. When someone like Drew Barrymore says no and every other big show follows suit, it's not just a scheduling issue. It's a message. And Meghan Markle, for all her ambition and calculated moves, just got that message delivered loud and clear.